Hey, it's Bonefist, Peterborough's first real superhero, and today we're going to be talking about how to make a pocket medkit for yourself. Now, this isn't specifically for RLSHing, but that's what I'm mostly use it for, on my patrols and other RLSH stuff. Um, what it mostly consists of is minor stuff, for smaller wounds, small trauma. You're not going to be doing hardcore medical treatment with this kit. We may show like a bigger kit or like a backpack kit in the future, which sometimes I do carry. I have a larger kit, but this one I assembled myself to fit in my pouches, or just on myself, in a small place. Now, a good thing to start with is, what are you going to keep it in? I have mine in a small sewing kit. You could go with an Altoids tin, or maybe a small pill bottle, or some kind of candy, like Altoids kind of, or a Ziploc bag. I'm possibly considering switching to. Depends on the quality of the Ziploc bag and the size of it. But to start off, it's not too nuts. We have some polysporin, like the spray things. I've tried to find some smaller tubes of it that could fit in here. Haven't been able to find ones that are short enough, but I might be able to work stuff around. Always experiment. You want to keep upgrading. That's a good point. Keep learning, keep adding new stuff, and taking out things to make space and to make it more efficient. The next thing we got is some tape. I'm just some small medical tape. Try to get ones that do have a plastic or cardboard center that will fold easily, so you can store it in there a bit better. Mine tends to kind of unbend, so what I'm opting to is some duct tape or tape, some other kind of good tape, and wrapping it around like a small card, or maybe even a pencil, or just on itself, to make small bundles so you can fit it in there even more efficiently. That is something I'm working on. Just some small like bandage roll or like gauze roll is a good thing to have. And then moving on to some medicines. I got some ibuprofen, and that's Advil, or Tylenol is a different kind. I forget the name of it, but look through different medicines, see what they do, see what the best to fit in there would be, and if you have enough room, fit as many as possible for different situations. And then some antihistamines, for possible allergic reactions that you could come into. This could slow something down if until a paramedic is there or an ambulance shows up to take someone away to give them further treatment for whatever's going on. We just have some normal sized band-aids. Not really too effective. Most things, if it's small enough to have a band-aid on it, you don't really need a band-aid. And if it's big enough to not use it, then you shouldn't really have it. So most of the time I'd say band-aid's not that big of a thing, but I like to keep them just in case I do come into someone with a small wound that would like a band-aid. You can offer it to them. I have I think about 4 or 5 of these, just all rolled up. Some alcohol, like swabs or pads. I think I got about 3 or 4 of these. To clean wounds. Make sure you don't use this just directly, because it can be worse for the wound. But do your research. And then just some gauze pads at the bottom. The sticky kind. So you can put them on. I don't want to take them out because they're pushed in there pretty good, but I got like 2 of them in there. And that all comes together to make a pretty quality kit. I can trim it down a bit. I want to work in some new stuff. If you have any ideas, feel free to leave it in the comments. We want to expand. We want to learn from each other. Let's see if I can throw this all back in here. Oh yeah, it fits pretty well. Close her up. Throw it in the pouch. Throw the lid on. And that's my first aid kit as a whole. I do have just an extra elastic. So I throw that in there. It's on the side. Not really useful for anything. Just sometimes to hold it together or hold garbage bags. That's why I have that sitting out. Some other important things that could come in handy, like I said, is some tape or duct tape to fold up and keep in small segments. other than on just a roll like of cardboard or tape itself. There really is no reason you can't roll it down or get it into a smaller form to keep more space and add more things to your stuff, to your kit. Some small scissors or tweezers is another good thing. Some antibiotic ointment, burn cream, that stuff can also be very helpful with wounds and burns, of course. Cotton swabs can also be very helpful for cleaning out wounds and spreading ointments or creams around. Another good thing to consider is some gloves. I would like to get those in my kit, or maybe make room in one of my pouches for that. Just to have some gloves in case you do get into a serious thing. You don't want to get blood on your hands or something that's on your hands in someone's wound, and that can be very important, to keep things clean. So I recommend gloves. Any other medicine that you might find important, that's another good thing. Okay, I can't really name any off right now just by, but there's lots of medicines that, that have different effects for different occasions that you may want to look into to see what's more efficient and not efficient for different situations. A couple good tips is obviously to be efficient in spacing. Keep things as small as possible, and if you can roll up, like I'm trying to compartmentalize stuff. Really, if you can fold up your Band-Aids to make smaller space in certain areas, do that. If you can make small pill sacks like I used for the Advil, just made a little smaller bag out of a Ziploc bag. You can do that to make stuff more spacious and have more room for things, of course. Like I was saying, another good tip, don't fill your kit with the small Band-Aids, regular Band-Aids, because they're not going to come in handy for really bad situations. They're either going to be pointless or kind of just a protective barrier, something that is not necessary. On the smaller wounds or in a bigger wound, it's not going to be helpful because it's going to be so big that the Band-Aid will just fall off from too much blood, or it's not big enough to cover a wound, so it's pointless. Like I said, I think that's a very important tip. People think that just because they have a lot of those small Band-Aids, that they're going to save lives, and you got to think about it. That's the realism, that they're not really useful in life-threatening situations or anything that could be very traumatic of a situation. And I guess my last tip is just research everything. How to do medical stuff. Your laws, of course, make sure you have a Good Samaritan Act or law that allows you to give medical treatment to someone else without, it coming back on you, as long as you know what you're doing. That's what the Good Samaritan Act is, or law, that, you're allowed to perform medical treatment on someone while they're, say unconscious or something like that, and it won't fall back on you if you do make a mistake, as long as you are partially in the know of what you're doing. You can't just come up to someone and start sewing someone without ever having known of anything of sewing, and you sew their arm to their body or something like that. You know what I mean? That would fall back on you. But make sure you know what you're doing before you give any medical treatment to someone. Make sure they're okay with it. If they are conscious, or if they do have a friend or something, see if you can get an okay from them. Someone who can speak for them is a good tip. Other than that, keep upgrading. Like I said, do research on different medicines, Band-Aids, tapes, just medical treatment itself, how to use the first aid kit. Of course, don't just bring out a first aid kit and have no idea what's in it or how to use any of the items. You want to have a good sense of what you have and where it is, so if in that situation you can pull it out, you can be like, okay, I know my gauze pads are at the bottom, so take out everything, gauze pads, you know what I mean? You don't have to scramble around looking through your first aid kit. Make sure you know where things are. Make sure you keep upgrading, keep researching, stay safe, and take this as a learning experience, and hope that you never have to use what you've learned, but if the situation does occur, you are prepared, and that's what it's all about. So thanks for watching another video. Make sure to check out my other stuff. bone fist out.